phones. You're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, everyone. Give it up for yourselves for coming out. Thank you so much. Episode 90-something, 93, I don't know, 90-something. I'm here with George. We're back. We're back. My trip to Texas was a huge success. If you're a listener from Texas, I commend you for living in a shithole. The state of Texas. Austin Dallas is good. Dallas and Houston have character. Austin is a combination of, I don't know who said this first, and I'm going to steal it from them, but Austin is where you go when you're too ugly for LA, too stupid for San Francisco, and too poor for New York. That's pretty much what Austin is. But the shows were very good, so we're back. We're back in business. Let's get into it. We have so much news to cover. I want to start with the crypto story. This isn't an amazing. Sometimes you guys gotta understand. Sometimes a story, here at Sean's show, sometimes stuff just falls into your lap. Like life is bad. Life is generally shitty, and you need to work really hard for things that you get. Sometimes there's a story where I'm like, I don't even have to do my job. Most of the time, you guys have to understand, I'm digging, I'm looking for stuff that's like interesting to talk about. I'm trying to connect geopolitics with venture capital, with money, and I'm trying to make it funny. And sometimes you get all of that, all of the good stuff that we're all interested in here at Sean's show. You get it all in one story. And I'm so excited to share this story with you. One of the most exciting, honestly, this is one of the best things to happen so far, if I do say so myself, this year. One of the most exciting, interesting stories. It's kind of a lifestyle piece. It's kind of a lifestyle, right, George? It's kind of a lifestyle. It's not usually what we talk. Usually we're talking about things that are bad. This is a story that should really warm all of your hearts. So get ready for the headline. Here's the headline. A second crypto investor is charged with kidnapping and torturing a man in a posh New York City townhouse. Give it up, guys. Oh my God. I love it. A second crypto. So there was a first, and now a second crypto investor, of which all of you are, my listeners, are crypto investors. I wouldn't call Dogecoin an investment, but let's say it is. A second crypto investor is charged with kidnapping and torturing a man in a posh New York City townhouse. Now, my first question is, what did this man do? Because clearly, if a crypto investor is kidnapping and torturing you, you deserved it. No, he truly talking to any crypto investor is torture. So he's guilty immediately. Looking at this guy's face, having a conversation with him is fucking torture. Listening to this guy with the polo shirt talk about decentralized currencies is torture. And if you've ever talked to a crypto investor, you've been kidnapped and tortured. Because they hold you hostage, they grab your shoulders and they go, you don't understand. If you don't buy Bitcoin at 50,000, you're going to have to buy it at 100,000. Why is every pitch for Bitcoin, it's literally like, you don't understand. If you don't buy it now, you're going to have to suck my dick for water. You don't understand. If you don't buy Bitcoin right now for $110,000, you're going to have to let me fuck you to drink water in the water wars. It's like, okay, what? Like that's not why that's not a good a good investment thesis is not, if you don't buy it now, you're going to be a slave. But that's the world that we live in. And that's how these people think. That's how crypto investors think. Crypto investors and Bitcoin holders, Bitcoin maximalists, they call themselves. I call them virgins, but they're Bitcoin maximalists. They think that Bitcoin is going to disrupt the idea of sovereignty, and that in the future there will be no countries. There will be the Bitcoin holders and there will be everyone else. Now, I happen to think that I'm not going to say that that's an impossibility. I'm an open-minded person, and I am also a cynical person. So yes, maybe in the future sovereignty is disrupted, and we truly live in this world where you have people that own a bunch of Bitcoin that torture and kidnap the people that don't own Bitcoin. I'm not saying that that's not a future that's possible. I would actually argue that we already live in a version of that society. Bitcoin, people are like, Bitcoin's going to change everything. No, it's not. Look around you. Look around your apartment, listeners. What do you see? Do you see opulence? Do you see wealth? Or do you see a needle? Do you see Netflix? Do you see needles and Netflix? No. Or yes, you don't see a chandelier. So this idea that Bitcoin is going to change the way that wealth is distributed is wrong. I'm holding you hostage right now. I'm actually doing the example. I'm actually doing a character of the guy. This is what this guy said to the guy that he kidnapped. Let's scroll down and let's learn more about the second crypto investor. Can we connect with him on LinkedIn? I want to see, whenever someone gets charged with kidnapping and torturing, I want to add them on LinkedIn. And I'm going to go, are you hiring? Can we zoom in a little bit? Let's take a look at this story. I mean, this is just incredible. This is just like a classic fun story. A second cryptocurrency investor surrendered to police Tuesday. I thought you guys were libertarians. I thought you didn't believe in police. Surrendered to police. How? I thought Bitcoin hold on. I thought you're a cryptocurrency investor. You believe that you're probably a libertarian. You believe that owning Bitcoin exempts you from law. That's what you believe. But here you are you are surrendering to the police. Why didn't you just tell the police that you own Bitcoin? Because that's what they think. They think that like they can truly, these people, they think that because they bought an internet currency, that they have the right to kidnap and torture people. And if the police show up, they can be like, no, you don't understand. Have you heard of Ethereum? No. They're like, sir, the cops show up. They're like, get on the fucking ground, you psycho. Unhandcuff that man. What the fuck are you doing? Get on. You're under arrest. Like, no. I have Ethereum. And they think that the cops like, oh, my bad. My apologies. Sorry. Sir, I'm so sorry. Sir, I'm so sorry. Let me dust off your shoulder. I'm so sorry. You can continue to kidnap and torture this man. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you own $2,000 of Solana. William Duplessis. His last name sounds like duplicitous. William Duplicitous III, 32 years old, faces charges of kidnapping, assault. By the way, free William. William Duplessis III, 32, faces charges of kidnapping, assault, unlawful imprisonment, and criminal possession of a weapon. His arrest comes 4 days after the alleged victim, a 28-year-old Italian national, escaped, bloodied and barefoot. This is a movie. This is a movie script. You open on the Italian national, bloodied and barefoot from a lavish townhouse where he said he had been severely beaten, drugged, shocked, and threatened with death for nearly 3 weeks. And he didn't even come. That's how sick Italians are. He was beaten, drugged, shocked, and threatened with death. Didn't even come. If I would have jizzed immediately. If I'm shocked by a crypto being tortured and beaten and kidnapped by a crypto investor is like, come on, look at me. On Friday evening, hours after the man's escape, the crypto investor John Waltz was taken into custody and charged in the alleged kidnapping scheme. Okay, let's keep going down here. Why would they kidnap and torture this Italian man? Let's find out. Authorities said the pair, so it's two different crypto investors, a partnership. Authorities said the pair lured the victim into an 8 bedrooms. That's quite a place to be tortured. I'd rather be tortured in Soho than Gitmo. Where would you rather be tortured and kidnapped? Gitmo or Soho? Do you think they gave him they're shocking him and they're like, do you want an espresso? They're like shocking his balls. They're like, what's the fucking password to the Bitcoin, you motherfucker? You want some espresso? Could you scroll up? I want to see how they lured him. Okay. Authorities said the pair lured the victim. I love a good luring. Luring is scary. Being lured. No one wants to be lured. Lured is, it's kind of creepy. The pair lured the victim into an 8-bedroom townhouse. It's a pretty easy place to lure someone. I feel like you could ask anyone on the street and be like, hey, you want to come to my 8-bedroom townhouse in Soho? Okay. They lured him into an 8-bedroom townhouse in Soho, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the city, to steal his Bitcoin fortune. Okay. Over the next 17, this story just gets better and better. Over the next 17 days, the man told police he was bound by the wrists, shocked with electrical wires, pistol whipped, cut on the leg with a saw, and forced to smoke from a crack pipe. What the fuck? At one point, he said he was dangled from the home's top flight of stairs. This is just an average Soho party. This is just an average party at a Soho house. You know Soho House? This is just Soho House. Being forced to smoke crack is how you get into Soho House, by the way. I've tried to get into Soho House. It's very exclusive. It's very exclusive. He was forced to smoke crack. Now, believing that he would soon be killed, the victim said he agreed Friday morning to give the men access to the password. As the men went to retrieve his computer, the victim was able to escape from the home and flag down a traffic agent. I mean, this has to be a movie. This has to be a movie. A search of the townhouse. Excuse me. I'm just so excited I'm hopped up on espresso. This is fucking awesome. A search of the townhouse turned up a trove of evidence, prosecutors said, including cocaine, not surprising, a saw, chicken wire, body armor, night vision goggles, ammunition, and Polaroid photos of the victim with a gun pointed to his head and a crack pipe in his mouth. Fuck yes. Fucking Polaroid? A Polaroid? I mean, at least you think these guys are digital. They're all about digital. Why are you using old school technology? Here's the thing about blockchain people. They think that they're these like forward thinking digital people, and but they also like old school indie shit. They like they're cowboys. Like they want to be on the blockchain because it's a new version of an old thing, which is authoritarianism. They it's not that they actually are into a decentralized technology that will reduce war and stop war. They like authoritarianism. They like oppression. So they like making people suffer. They're sadists. So that's why they all live in Texas. That's why they all like wear cowboy hats. Like they want to own most Bitcoin people, they want to own Bitcoin and they also want to own slaves. Like they want to own both. They're like, not only do we want to have the blockchain, but we also like want real human slaves. That's really what they want. Now, this is a story. I mean, we got to make, this has to be a movie. Can we cut back to the guy's face? I mean, truly, look at this guy's face. Hi, Dad. This is my dad. If you're just listening, this guy, he's just your typical white Wall Street bro. He's a guy that you would see at Soho House. Why does this guy even need to torture? This is one of two men who kidnapped and tortured an Italian national who was, I guess, had a Bitcoin fortune, and they wanted his. How did you think this would turn out, bro? You think you're gonna kidnap how? Then that's criminals really don't have a plan. You thought that you were gonna kidnap an Italian guy and take his Bitcoin, and you weren't gonna get caught? Where'd you think you were gonna go? Kosovo? They love these small countries. Epstein's Island, like they love islands. They love island nations that can be bought. That's really what they love. They love island nations where there's no extradition to America. I bet you his plan was, I'm going to kidnap this Italian guy. He's going to give me all his Bitcoin. I'm going to run away with my partner. Also gay, maybe? Maybe they were dating. Who knows? And we're going to run to an island nation that doesn't have extradition to the U.S. and we're going to live out our lives on an island. I mean, this is just a movie script that's waiting to be written. I want to get in touch with this guy somehow. I want to get inside his head. He does not look good here. He looks bad. I'll be honest. He doesn't look good. He looks well dressed. I mean, he's got. I mean, really, let's really think about the details of this story. 17 days. Imagine being tortured for 17 days in Soho. Tortured in Soho. That's the movie title. Kidnapped. Shocked in. How about shocked in Soho? Soho. I mean, like chicken wire. They made him smoke crack. What was that about? Did they think that maybe, oh, we'll make him smoke crack and then he'll like a truth serum? That's the thing. They were smoking more crack than the guy they kidnapped. This story is just an anti-drug PSA. It's like, hey, if you smoke crack, you might think it's a good idea to kidnap an Italian guy who you think has a Bitcoin fortune and then try to get the Bitcoin from him. Bitcoin is like the craziest community of people. It's Nazis, 4chan incels, Wall Street bros, which is a circle, by the way. That's the circle of a Venn diagram. And then you have Italians. You've got and then you have internet heads, old Linux users. I really can't understand. It's hard to really synthesize what makes someone interested in Bitcoin. It's really hard to synthesize it. It's people that want to be wealthy. It's people that are probably introverts. It's people that are, I would say, outcasts in society. I think a lot of people that are into Bitcoin are black sheep in society. And so, that's probably it. People that are into Bitcoin are black sheep. They are, and they are artists. It's people that are, it's people that are mentally ill. You have schizophrenic people. You've got DARPA. It's listeners of Sean's show. It's the top 1% and the bottom 1% of society being drawn to, and I mean that in the ultra rich and the ultra poor and the ultra crazy. They all love Bitcoin, and they're gravitated, and it draws them in because it's this new thing. It's this new way of thinking about society. Bitcoin is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an escape. Bitcoin is an escape for the ultra poor to imagine a world where they have power. And they'll never have it. But owning a little slice. It's like a lottery ticket. It's like owning a little piece of a future where maybe just maybe this will be my path out of suffering, the suffering of my life. And what ends up happening sometimes is you end up kidnapping an Italian guy and making him smoke crack. You know, is making someone smoke crack a bad thing? Yes. Is it hilarious? Yes. Hey, smoke this crack with me. That's kind of like Wolf of Wall Street. This is, remember Wolf of Wall Street? We're like, smoke this crack with me, bro. Jonah Hill's so funny. Smoke crack with me, bro. Just smoke a little bit of crack with me. And he's like, I don't, Leonardo DiCaprio's like, I don't smoke crack. I only fuck 16-year-olds. No, thank you. Smoke this crack with me, bro. They probably were like, 7. Also, I don't know. I would actually argue that having to spend 17 days with an Italian guy is torture. There was torture on both sides of the equation. Having to spend 17 days, even if you're the one that's kidnapped the guy, there's torture going on both sides. Torturing a guy who has a Bitcoin fortune and is an Italian guy, that's torture for the people that are doing it too. He's like, I don't want to smoke with the crack. I don't want to smoke with the crack. No. Crazy. So they've been charged and they'll probably be found guilty. You know what? I think it's wrong. Free William. This is called, if you think that this is wrong, then you're not an entrepreneur and you don't believe in American exceptionalism. You are not someone that I want. They say you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I would say that these guys were just trying to better their lives and network. See, you guys understand, in the Bitcoin war, in a normal society, yes, it looks like they're kidnapping a guy and making him smoke crack and shocking his nuts. But in the Bitcoin world, this is networking. This is like a totally normal. The Italian guy, you guys understand, the Italian guy wanted this. The Italian guy wanted this. He wanted to be kidnapped and shocked and tortured. Now, did the Italian guy pay? He was in the SOHO for 17 days. Did he pay the guys? He was crashing at their place for 7. He was crashing. Here's how I would, if I want them to hire me. I want these 2 guys to hire me as their defense attorney. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to be like, look, I know it looks like they made him smoke crack, but they were all just crack. This Italian guy, it's a friend. He was crashing at their place and he liked to be tied up a little bit. And I'm not going to judge. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's not pass judgment. Let's not kink shame. But what we had here was a simple sex party involving an Italian national and a car battery. That's what was going on here, ladies and gentlemen. It was an extravagant role play situation, and that's what was going on here. And it ended. And what you have, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is you have the Italian gentleman who agreed to all of this verbally, running out of the house, bloodied, simply, and now is charging these gentlemen with a crime simply because he couldn't get off. And I don't think that not being able to get your partner off is a crime. Now, all the men on the jury, you look me in the eyes and you tell me, right? All men in the jury, raise your hand if you've ever had a time where you couldn't make your partner come. Raise your hand. Look around, everyone. That's a lot of men. Now, are those men in jail because they couldn't make their woman come? I don't think so. So should these men that are on trial right now, because they smoked a little bit of crack, I would go, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I smoked crack before the hearing. You think I don't smoke crack before hearings? You think I don't own Ethereum? Show of hands. Who here owns Ethereum? Look around. Show of hands. Who here wants to smoke crack? Show of hands in the jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who has crack? Who has crack on them now? It's a lot of people. So I ask that you find my clients innocent of all charges. And I'm also asking for some crack. I'm asking for crack. This is a crazy story. Smoking crack is, honestly, smoke crack every day. I want to, that, I mean, every comedian does this joke, but I'm going to do it anyway. Those signs that are like, in this house, we believe, love, in this house, we believe abortion is healthcare, da 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 da. My version of that is, in this house, we believe smoking crack is not a crime. Bitcoin is the future. Torturing someone is not illegal. SOHO is a great neighborhood. I'll go, in this house, we believe SOHO is overpriced right now. Smoking crack is a lot of fun. Owning Bitcoin is not a crime. By the way, there's this comedy show I do at a Bitcoin bar in Tribeca in Lower Manhattan. And truly, so this is actually just a slice of my life, guys. I go to this bar. It's a Bitcoin themed bar, which is crazy. Already that's crazy. And that should show you that the Bitcoin community is fucking crazy. If Bitcoin holders wanted credibility, they wouldn't do events at a bar. They would do it in a fucking office. Right? But I go to this bar where they do comedy shows, and they do a Bitcoin networking event. And then the Bitcoin networkers shuffle home, and I'm walking in and I cross paths with these Bitcoin people, and I look in their eyes, and there's nothing. There's nothing there. And now I'm wondering, maybe these guys went to these Bitcoin networking events. Think about it. Before you go to the next Bitcoin networking event, just think about some of these people that are at these networking events. They may have an Italian man tied up in their fucking bedroom. And they're like, hi, nice to meet you. Do you own Bitcoin? If someone asks you by the way, I don't own any Bitcoin, for the record. And you'll never find, and the only way you'll find out if I actually own Bitcoin is when the Civil War happens and I have a bunch of guns. The way that you're going to find out that I'm a Bitcoin billionaire is when I have a gun to your head. When I have 10 people with guns in my fucking house. That's how you're going to find out I own Bitcoin. And that's how everyone thinks that, like, it's going to work. Owning a Bitcoin will not save you from the apocalypse. And anyone who thinks that is a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. You're a fucking idiot if you think owning a Bitcoin, and I'll stand on business on this. Maybe I'll be wrong, but truly, if you think that owning one Bitcoin, which is like what, $100,000, and maybe it'll be $2 million. Well, they all say this. They all go, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. And what does that mean? That means that what the meaning behind that is that it's that you shouldn't think of Bitcoin in terms of US dollars. It's that you should think of Bitcoin in terms of Bitcoin. Now, I've said the word Bitcoin so much during this episode that you all have guns in your mouth, and I've tortured you enough. So we'll move on. But Free William, legalize crack, Free William, because truly, these guys did nothing wrong. Who hasn't kidnapped and tortured an Italian Bitcoin billionaire in their life? It's really not a big deal. And to be honest, if I could spend 17 days in SOHO, a little bit of torture is not. This Italian guy needs to quit his bitching. Think about what happened to this Italian guy, and we'll move on. But think about what happened to this Italian guy. He was invited very generously to stay in SOHO for 17 days for free. Okay? He got free crack. Free crack. 17 days in SOHO. That's the movie title. 17 Days in SOHO. 17 Days in SOHO, starring who would we cast in this?
Todd from Breaking Bad.
Todd. Yes. Thank you, George. 17 Days in SOHO. Todd is obviously one of the torturers. That's, oh my god, it's amazing. It could be canon with Breaking Bad. This could be a prequel to Better Call Saul. This could be like, I love that. Todd from Breaking Bad, before he got into the meth business, was actually in SOHO. He's actually a trust fund kid. He like doesn't need the money. He like has an 8-bedroom townhouse in SOHO, and he's just a sick fuck. And he kidnapped an Italian guy and tortured him for his Bitcoin. Not even because he needed it. Not even because he needed it. He just likes it. That's just his thing. Let's get a photo of Todd. Oh my God, that's perfect. Oh my God. Can we cut to Todd? Oh my God, I love it. I love it. 17 Days in SOHO, starring Todd from Breaking Bad. And I was actually thinking Joaquin Phoenix for the torturee, for the Italian guy. I mean, this is an amazing idea. Imagine Todd from Breaking Bad torturing Joaquin Phoenix in a SOHO townhouse. Imagine Todd from Breaking Bad making Joaquin Phoenix smoke crack. I'm sold. I'm like, I want to buy this now. Look at that. Joaquin Phoenix could play that role. He would murder that role. He'd be like, I'm not fucking giving you shit. Hey, and you know, Todd would be the type of torturer where he wouldn't even have to be violent. That's how scary Todd from Breaking Bad is like if he kidnapped someone and he wanted to, imagine if Todd made someone smoke crack. Oh my God, it's like perfect. This is the guy who's being arrested for kidnapping and torturing the Italian Bitcoin fortune guy. It's like a 1-to-1 resemblance. Wow. That was incredible, George. You need a raise, dude. Oh my God. I want to write this movie so bad. Can we get AI to write this movie? Just kidding. That 17 Days in it's like that one movie, Tarantino movie with Mr. Pink and all the characters. Reservoir Dogs. Well, I don't know how I got here tonight. And it's like Todd with like lighting up the crack pipe. See, here's the thing. Todd you wouldn't even have to like, Todd would put the crack pipe on the ground and he would say, that better be gone by the time I'm back. And he'd slam the door. And Joaquin would like be crying and he'd be like, I gotta smoke this crack. And Todd would, that's the thing. Todd is so scary that he wouldn't even have to like, he wouldn't even have to grab your head and make you actually smoke it physically. He would just put it on the ground and he'd be like, smoke the crack. Or, he'd say, hey, that's what he did in Breaking Bad. He was like, hey, make the meth. Or, I'm going to be upset. He'd go, hey, my boss is going to be really upset if you don't smoke this crack. And that is actually way scarier than a kidnapper who like forces you to smoke it. It's way scarier to have a kidnapper that goes, hey, just smoke the crack. That's fucking terrifying. Hey, I got this crack here and I just really want the password to your Bitcoin. That's such a good movie idea. Hey, I don't want to do this to you. That's how Todd talks. He goes, hey, I don't want to do this to you. You think I like I like Italian food. Hey, it's been like 14 days and you still haven't given me I just want your Bitcoin password. He's like kind of Midwest. Hey, I'm really sorry that like I tortured. You think I want to attach your testicles to a car battery? I didn't want to do that. All I want is your 16. He goes, have you heard? Hey, I know you know about 256-bit encryption. I know you know about SHA-256. I just want your 16-word phrase that will unlock your Bitcoin and you can go home. I'll even leave you one of the Bitcoin. I'll just take most of it. You can have some of your Bitcoin. Smoke this crack. I'll be right back. And Joaquin is like, and then Joaquin escapes. He kicks down the door. Imagine that scene. Joaquin Phoenix naked, his like dick is bleeding and he's like crying and he's like running, and then Todd realizes that he's escaped and he destroys the apartment in SOHO. And then it ends with like a super close up of Joaquin, And he runs up to the traffic cop and he's like, the cop's like, what's going on? He goes, 17 days. Cut to credits. Hi, come on. No one that listens to this knows. Well, no one listens to this, but of the few people that listen, no one knows any movie producers. But 17 Days in Soho, coming to Tubi in 2038. Wow. All right, let's do some more news. We gotta get to the news. What a great idea. Executive produced by George. I mean, that's such an unbelievable story. I almost don't even want to talk about the rest of the news because that's such a fun story. The lesson is, don't tell people if you own a lot of Bitcoin, don't go advertising that to people because people will kidnap you and they'll make you smoke crack. You know what I mean? So if you own a lot of Bitcoin, keep that shit to yourself, okay? Because if I find out that you own a lot of Bitcoin, I'll fucking make you smoke crack. I'm a nice guy and I'll kidnap and torture you. I'm going to add that guy on LinkedIn. I want to add him on LinkedIn and I want to be like, hey man, I appreciate your hustle. Have you ever thought of being a ad sales rep for a podcast? Because I'm looking. Okay, what else do we have on the news here? I mean, we have so many stories to cover. Harvard, boring. Maybe what else do we have here? Oh, Southwest. Oh, let's do the Newark. So we have an update on Newark. It's near the bottom, I believe. So, guys, if you don't know, actually, one of the clips did very well on TikTok. It got 400,000 views. We're actually getting a little bit of traction on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok, Sean's Show Pod. On TikTok, you'll find one of the clips got 400,000 fucking views. So, you know, I know people on YouTube are like, wow, Sean, your podcast is doing horrible. It got 10 views it literally got 10 views on YouTube. I'm like, well, follow us on TikTok because I got 300 something fucking. I'm kind of good at this, you know, I'm getting better at it. But let's do this story. So if you recall from a couple episodes ago, we talked about the Newark air traffic control. And we talked about how it's understaffed and how literally they're using carrier pigeons and they're flying carrier pigeons out of the air traffic control to tell the pilots when they can land. The radios are not working and they're using like smoke. They're like burning wood and like releasing smoke signals. That's how out of date the air traffic control infrastructure is. Now we have a guy who, by the way, does not look like an air traffic controller. He looks like the other guy that would torture. He looks like I would cast him to be one of the torturers in the Bitcoin movie in 17 Days in Soho. But his name is Jon Stewart, which is also fucking hilarious. Not that Jon Stewart. Jonathan Stewart is an air traffic controller, and he's speaking out, and he's whistleblowing. And he opens up about all the stress he is feeling as an air traffic controller. Let's take a little look and let's listen to him because it's brave.
I'm a rock star, right?
He's brave.
I move airplanes like nobody's business. Some days I'm a rock star, right? I can move airplanes like nobody's business. Some days I can't do it right to save my life.
Some days I smoke crack.
Stewart has been an air traffic controller for more than 2 decades. He's based out of the Philadelphia facility that oversees the airspace around Newark Airport. After a series of radar and radio outages there, several air traffic controllers took trauma leave.
Lack of sleep coupled with stress.
Could you add me on
killer.
The absences have fueled flight disruptions at Newark and surrounding smaller airports. Wall Street Journal's aviation safety reporter Andrew Tangle sat down with Stewart to discuss the reasons for the trauma leave and more.
The CEO of United Airlines characterized what the controllers did as walking off the job.
Hopefully he misspoke, because the controllers did not walk off the job. Walking off the job implies that they, of their own free will, left and refused to do their job. There's not a single controller in Newark Area C, to the best of my knowledge, that does not love their job, all right? We would like to have more resources to effectively do our job, Yes.
Can
that
you
is
pause
the
it?
case. But to say
I just
that
want to say,
someone
if you're just listening, this guy looks this guy does not look like an air traffic controller. And I don't want to stereotype, but I mean, I'm going to stereotype. Air traffic controllers should look like me. Not my race, any race, but they should be a nerd. You have to be a nerd. This guy looks like he manages Led Zeppelin. If you're just listening, he has like a crazy beard. And like he looks like he gets tons of pussy. It looks like he crushes pussy. And he manages Led Zeppelin. He's wearing a like, could you move the mouse? I kind of want to get a better, it's the video player. He's wearing like a cool jacket and like a cool necklace. Look at that necklace. That is not a guy that says Delta Flight Quebec 29, you're ready to land at 28 right. That is not a guy but I guess so. He's a supervisor. Now, let's keep listening because I think that like this speaks to a lot of the issues that are going on at Newark.
would basically game the system and take trauma leave when they were not traumatized is insulting at best, and just quite frankly misinformed. No way, shape, or form was that what happened. Nobody walked off the job of their own free will. They had to be taken out of position and relieved of duty because they were not mentally fit to do it anymore at that point because of the trauma that was involved.
A United spokesperson pointed to the CEO's more recent statements calling for better equipment and working conditions for controllers.
That they're working overtime hours, it makes the job stressful, it makes the job harder.
You yourself are on trauma leave right now, correct?
I am, yes.
On May 4th, 2 aircraft in New Jersey came dangerously close to possibly colliding mid-air on Stewart's watch.
Fuck.
A business jet taking off from Morristown was converging with a small airplane that had taken off from nearby Teterboro.
Jesus.
I had been working in the operation for roughly 3 hours-ish at the time of the incident. Typically, I try not to work myself or anyone else longer than 2 hours. It has just been my experience that after that 2-hour mark, your mental acuity begins to diminish a little bit because it's
That's
fatigue.
crazy.
You get tired.
Can you pause it again?
In my situation,
I mean, truly,
I was getting tired. I was having to utilize.
That's why my show is only an hour long. George had to take trauma leave. See, the thing is, being a podcast producer and being an air traffic controller, very similar. It's life and death. And ladies, you think this is a fucking game, don't you? You think that I just walk into my studio, hit record, and we just have fun? No. Lives are at stake. Every word that comes out of my mouth, every cut that George has to make, every little detail matters. George had to take trauma leave because of how stressful the job is. That is nothing compared to air. So the guy's on trauma leave, and the idea that like they're taking trauma leave because they want a vacation is absurd. If you can truly only do this job for 2 hours before it becomes unsafe, this is an intense motherfucking job. And let's keep listening. This is just like they're being abused by. It's crazy.
Of radar and non-radar rules that I basically just made up on the fly to separate aircraft in such a way that I could be prepared for.
That's great. Made up on the fly.
That increased my workload.
That's what I want.
Which led to me having a close call, so a nose-to-nose situation. Generally speaking, again, PTSD is cumulative, so you can be fine, over and over and over and over again, and then it's the ones that you don't see, the ones you didn't expect.
That's fucking crazy.
They're scared.
I can feel it. I feel the
PTSD.
PTSD.
And then you go straight into survival mode to separate those aircraft and make sure they don't hit. And then when that's over, then it really hits you. I almost, had a really bad error. I could have, done something terrible.
Can you pause it?
So yes, that part.
Let's be clear. The 2 aircraft that almost collided were both business jets. You'd have done something fantastic. The real, if I was this guy, I would be like, look, I have a lot of PTSD and people don't understand this job takes a lot of mental acuity and your absolute 100% focus. And there was this moment during the day when 2 business jets were nose to nose, and they almost collided, which would have been such a success and such an important moment. And I failed, and the two jets didn't collide. And those oil executives survived. And that is such that is a tragedy that I live with. Every day I have to wake up knowing that those business jets landed successfully and those men continued to wreak havoc on our world. And that's why I take trauma leave. It's because when business jets don't collide, people die. Let's keep watching. We got to wrap it up soon, guys.
It was stressful to me, and that's why I'm taking some time off.
Does the concern about the reliability of the equipment you're using add to that stress?
For me, it did.
Why did you decide to come forward and speak publicly?
My purpose of coming forward was to try to educate the general public on the fact that the air traffic controllers that are somewhat demonized in some of the news articles, basically, people saying they walk off the job, they don't want to work, they're taking trauma leave when it's not necessary. None of that is true. All right, absolutely everything that has been done by these controllers in the Newark area C has been warranted. Again, they are the best of the best.
Hey,
they deserve to get
can
paid.
you pause it? Hey, man, you look like a porn star. It doesn't help. It doesn't help that you look like a porn star. He goes up there's like, we're under a lot of stress. I'm like, you don't look that stressed. You actually look like you just had an orgy with like 8 beautiful women and you like smoked some crack. But I do believe you. I'm just making fun of you. I do believe you. Guys, I have a work call for my day job. I have to cut it short. I love you. Thank you to George. Follow the show on Spotify. Review the show on Spotify. Follow us on YouTube. And, again, if you guys tell people about the show, I'll be able to quit my day job and I can do more content. You understand how this works? So, hey, remember to spread love and hail Satan. And, don't fly into Newark. And I'll see you in SOHO. That's the show. Bye.